Make Your Move is about ownership, owning your experience, your ambition, and your next step. In this conversation, we'll explore what it takes to move with purpose and impact. Please welcome Sarah Ohanesian, the founder and CEO of So Productive, who's joining us from a business trip today. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks for having me join you.
I always appreciate that you make time for Girls Who Print, even when you're on your travels. Can you share a bit more about you, what you do, and how your work helps move people forward?
Oh, for sure. So the reason I'm traveling today is because I am a keynote speaker, I'm a corporate trainer, and I'm a productivity strategist. So what that means is that I get to work with teams of all different sizes, and my goal with all different industries as well. But my goal is really to help people so that they can stop being so busy all of the time, and they can start really doing the most important work, the things that really matter to them. And here's a caveat: without burning out. I want them to be productive and feeling good about what they're doing without the burnout. So I teach leaders in different teams, like, how can we create clarity? How can we create processes, remove some of those bottlenecks, and navigate all the challenges that we're dealing with in a way that helps us moving forward, feeling good about what we're doing and not burning out in the process.
You made a big move jumping from the printing industry to the productivity industry, or the time management or the coaching industry. Can you discuss that and, why you took that leap?
Yeah, so I really do believe in, and let me say, before I answer, let me say that I believe in some of these like callings and signs from the universe and paying attention to what you really want within a context of, in my case, leaving and doing my own thing, but also within the role that you have at your organization. So everything I share today, please don't take it as like, oh, you need to change your career and run off into the wilderness and find yourself and change everything. I like to think about making moves and making changes within even the role that you have at the organization that you're with. So that's what I'll say on that front. What happened to me was I had done so much in the marketing world and print included. And I really thought there's something brewing inside of me. So when I talk about like the universe, God, signs, like whatever you all believe in, and I know that's different for everyone, there was just like something inside of me that felt like, is this it? Is this all that there's going to be? And I just felt like there was more. There was something more that I was really like called to give the world. And that sounds a little woo-woo, but I thought, everyone I talk to, everyone is saying, I'm busy. I'm so stressed out. I'm so burned out. I'm so overwhelmed. And I just thought, is that all that there is? Like, we work and work and work, and then we die, and that's the end of it. And so I thought, well, what could I do to help people with that? So, Deborah, there was like all these things that kept happening that were pointing me in the direction of start your own business. Go for it. Do it. Become a consultant, because what's the worst thing that can happen? So during the pandemic, actually, the big sign I got was I got laid off from my job. It had been a company that I had been with for 15 years, really had a beautiful career there. And I got laid off like so many people did. And I have to say it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because for me, I'm a really methodical person, and I'm someone who really thinks things through. And when is a good time to leave a well-paying job that you're good at, that is stable and has all of the things? There's never a really good time for that. So I needed that external factor, that external sign. But luckily, I had already been taking some steps to help me get there. So for me, there was an external force that really came into play, but that was my big move. And my gut was just telling me that it was time to do that.
So I'm fascinated by this. You had no formal training of being a time management or productivity coach. Yeah. So how did you become an expert in it?
Right. That's a great question. I had always been a student of it, I will say. It was a topic that was interesting to me. I always gravitated towards it. I had read the books. I had listened to podcasts about it. So it was always something that I was learning about. So while I didn't have any formal training in that space, what I did have was a wealth of information, years of knowledge, and someone who had really developed, as I would say, an expert in that space. And so then I started thinking about, well, what's my own take on this? What's my twist on it? What has helped me to get where I need to be? And that's where I really went from being, and now this is funny to say, but like an expert to really a thought leader in this space. And now someone who's, one of the foremost experts in the country on productivity and time management. I get to travel all over the country speaking to different groups about this because I thought, no, it's my expertise mixed with my experience and my way that I do this. And now I have an opportunity to teach this to other people. And so for anyone that is out there thinking, well, I can't do it because I don't have that degree or I don't have that training or I don't have that certification, I would say go for it. And then you'll get what you need along the way. And again, that goes for any type of certification. Now, since then, have I formally been trained in certain things? Absolutely. I went to a wonderful graduate level program on professional speaking. I have been certified in many different programs and software. So I eventually got all the certifications that I felt like I needed. But I think just being a student and constantly learning and constantly growing, and I always will be someone who continually learns and grows with the space.
And you were dabbling or studying about productivity, time management, focusing on the right things. Was it because that was something you needed for yourself, or were you just interested in it as a topic like I read about serial killers?
Right. Yes. Well, hopefully you're like asking for a friend. For me, it was a combination of both. I mean, I was in a really busy industry, and I know in the print world, it's deadlines are changing all the time. People need stuff. Oh, we changed our mind. Oh, we made a mistake. We need to change course. So I would imagine for many of you, you're in this busy space a lot. And so for me, as a marketer, it was just a necessity that I was able to be productive and get it figured out and not dwell on things. And I certainly love that topic as well. So for me, it was a combination of both. And then being able to bring the two together was really powerful for me.
What does making your move mean to you at this stage of your career?
Well, I know ownership is a big part of that. So for me, that's owning my experience, and for you all too, like your experience, my experience, they're all valuable. And that's something that we can bring and others can learn from us. I think it's about owning how ambitious I am right now and the next steps that I'm going to take. I'm very confident right now in I know what I'm doing, and I know what can help teams. And so I think I'm really owning that space. I'm 6 years into this business now. So I'm not really like, oh, maybe I'm a coach, maybe I'm a this. I'm like, no, I am one of the thought leaders in this space. I'm a keynote speaker on this topic. And so I've just become more confident and intentional, and I know my value because I really know that I can help teams. And I think that's something that I can leave everyone here with as well is it's all about impact. It's all about what impact are you able to make? Are you capable of making? And being confident that the skill that you have, sometimes I feel like a lot of what I teach is common sense and everybody knows it. And I'm using quotes if you're just listening to audio of this. And I think that's where the opportunity lies. When it's easy for you, when it comes naturally for you, that's a thing that you can then teach other people because you can't take it for granted. It can be a real skill set that you have. So I would say I'm really feeling make the move as this confidence, and I'm moving with intention. The other thing I'm doing is I'm not just teaching tactics and tips and tricks anymore. I'm really leaning into a bigger conversation around this right now. So it's certainly productivity still, but we're starting to get into culture and leadership. And what does it mean when our full workforce is productive, not just individuals on the team? Like, what can we actually do impactfully as a whole group? So I think for me, I'm elevating, and this conversation is getting bigger for me. So that's the moves I'm making right now, Deborah.
That's incredible. And I love that, it's like the foundation was the confidence. And now that you have that foundation in place and you believe in yourself, you don't care what other people believe. You just said it. I am one of the foremost experts in this space in the country or the world. And, and you own it, and you're not saying it with like, well, some people say, and that it allows you to make any move that you want to make because you believe you can make it already.
Yeah, yeah. And I think when you believe in yourself, that's really when you become a little bit unstoppable. Like the
Yeah.
potential that you have when you really truly believe in yourself. And again, that comes from, isn't this easy for everybody? No, it's not. It's easy for you. And that's a skill that I would double down on. If that's a skill that someone in your office says, you're really good at that, you do that so quickly. You do that with such ease. Every time I have that problem, I want to bring it to you. That's the stuff that I would pay attention to because even in whatever role you have, like that is the opportunity. I have a really good friend. I think you're going to be talking to Anna at some point as well in your network, but she talks about being indispensable. And I think that's one of the ways to do it. So I would go listen to that recording as well. But Anna talks about being indispensable. And I think that's one way to do it. Like, this is a strength I have, and I'm just going to lean into it because I'm good at this with confidence.
All right. I have one last question about that, if
Sure.
you will entertain me, which is that I'm curious if the confidence was solidified through validation from others, or if it was solidified by you just knowing that you can do this.
I have the smallest ego ever. So it didn't come from me. I think I have a small ego to a fault sometimes. So it's come from people telling me that worked from me. A client saying, we changed something because of you, and here's the difference it made. Here's the person whose job and whose life were affected by your work. Here's the money we saved because of you. So it has certainly come from external validation, which then has increased my ego a little bit. But yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's hard for women, especially. It can be really tough for us to get that confidence on our own, but whatever, get it from the outside and take it from there. So for me, yeah, it's really been a culmination of seeing my work in the world play out and months or years later, see how that's been a long-term effect on teams.
I mean, you've affected my life. You've affected so many of the girls who print out in the world. We have a ton of replays from all of the events you've joined us on. You and I do a podcast called Time Management Tips in 20. So thank you for helping all of us, and especially me. I was your guinea pig student for Girls Who Print, and I am still learning from you. Every time I look at my to-doist list, I think of you. Okay, so the job change aside, can you share a moment when you took an action that really moved your career forward?
I don't know if it was an action so much as I would say this is along the lines of that confidence piece. Back in the day, there were times where I was the only woman in the meeting, or I was the youngest and, youngest female in the meeting on top of it. And again, I think the confidence just grew over time by doing some of these things. So my career moves over time were consistently putting myself in a place that felt like, I don't know if I belong here. I don't know if I'm good enough to be here. I don't know if I should be here. And the move reinforcement, I guess, I kept getting was they wouldn't have invited you if you shouldn't be here. And there's times still to this day, I have that same thought. They wouldn't have asked you to speak. They wouldn't have asked you to train your team. And I just throughout my career have had those constant moments of like a little bit, do I belong here? Am I good enough to be here? And that is that ability then I think to move and make the next move is like, yeah, I crushed that meeting. Of course I should have been there. I'm good in those environments. And now on to the next. So for me, Deborah, I don't feel like it was necessarily like one move, one action, but it was this consistent series of actions that led me to, no, I am here. I belong here and I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
All right, I'm going to drill down a little into that. So
Sure.
you were a marketing director,
Yeah.
marketing something, a product, a service, whatever it was. Now you're a business owner having to market yourself,
Yes.
which is completely different than being not attached to the thing that you're talking about. Now you have to sell yourself as a keynote speaker. Now you have to sell yourself as a productivity coach and an expert. So that had to, I'm interested in, how that action took place that you were like, not only I'm going to sell myself and I'm going to start getting these jobs.
Sure. And as one of the themes that is obviously coming up today is that confidence piece is now I'm the product. I am it. Like I'm selling myself as a person and a product and a service. So for me, there has been this ability to just sometimes detach from any kind of negativity. I know my value and I know my worth, and I'm going with that because I'm the service, I'm the product. And so I think it's interesting, and I think that's something to just pay attention to. So if you're someone in your space and someone writes something not so nice on social media, or someone says something that you don't love negativity about you, I listen. I'm like, thank you so much for your feedback. And luckily it doesn't happen a lot. And I think, well, I'm not for everyone. And also that's their opinion on something, but look at all the people who have really loved this and done so well in their spaces. So for me, it's just paying attention to it, but not too much, and really understanding, okay, I got to serve the people that I am really, really meant to serve. Because for those people, like, it's great.
Right.
We're a really good match. And I think that's a challenge when like you are the product.
What advice would you give women in print or in other industries, especially male dominated industries, who are thinking about their next move?
I would say we've already talked about confidence. So let's handle a couple other C's. Clarity, for one. I would say courage. And I would say, like, what's your contribution? So I'll dive into those a little bit more. The clarity piece is really, and we've talked about this a lot on previous episodes, so you can go back and dive in, but it's really thinking about, what do you want? What do you want? What is your next move? And again, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be the next move I want to make next week, tomorrow, something small, all the way up to something big. But to me, it always comes back to, what do you actually want? And getting really clear on that, because that can certainly guide your next move. The next one is courage. I would say it's really about having courage. It's about courage to just do it. Like, take the action. What maybe are you avoiding? What are you afraid of? What are you really afraid of is a question I would ask, because one of my favorite questions is, what's the worst that could happen? Like, it's usually okay. And so what do you need to really get that courage and then go for it? So often we think, I'm not ready. And I would say I built my whole business and people saying, can you do this? And I said, yes. And then I figured it out. And now I'm past that point. But at the beginning, certainly it was just a lot of courage of me going, I can do it. Yeah, let me do it. So I would say dive in with courage. And then the contribution piece is really about, what value can you bring? And I talk a lot in my work about, it's not about how busy you are. It's not about how many meetings you go to or how packed your calendar is, but it's really about that impact that you make. Like, what is the contribution that only you can make, that naturally you are good at? And what value do you really bring to the space that you're in and where you want to go? And I think just being someone who contributes good work all the time is huge. And then if you need a little help tracking that, I would say track your wins. Like, start to track your wins, and you're going to just see, like, I contributed, I was impactful. That's the value. So just constantly bringing value as a contributor. That's what I try to do.
I'm going to go back to clarity for one moment.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Please.
And just to say that, everybody thinks differently. And I know for me, it's easier for me to start off with what I don't want to do, because I don't know what I do want to do, So if I say, these are definitely my no-fly zones, I really don't want to have a boss anymore. I really don't want to, have to sit in an office for 80 hours a week working in
Mhm.
advertising or anything like that. So you can start if it's easier for you to start with what you don't want to do, it helps you figure out what you do want to do.
For sure.
They ask 18-year-old kids who are fortunate enough to be able to go to university, what's your major when you're a freshman? And everyone's just like, you're asking me to commit to what I want to be for the rest of my life, instead
Mhm.
of thinking, well, I'm not really great at math, so I'm probably not going to be a chemist or a chemist or an engineer or an astronomer. I'm really not so great in languages, so I'm probably not going to be a translator and you just keep going on until you find, well, I'm a creative person. I like that. I like working with other creative people. I like a fast moving environment. I like projects that don't take a year, but there's a lot of fast ones that I have to figure out. And that's how I find my way to advertising, because that is the environment that it actually works for me, and others don't. So there's all different ways of figuring these things out. It doesn't have to be, you must know what you want to do. It could also start with, this is what I don't want to do ever again. Comments?
Yes, 1,000% for sure. And I think that's where people get stuck. It's like, if I don't have it all figured out, then I guess I'll do nothing and I'll just stay
Especially
where I
women,
am.
right?
Oh my goodness. And over analyzing the options too. Guilty. But that's where the clarity piece is really about pointing us in the right direction. And it can be a series of things that lead us. But part of what I want everyone to take away from this is just paying attention to some of those signals and signs and feelings, and like, oh, I'm feeling a certain way about this. That's a clarity moment. So there's these moments of clarity that we get that I'm saying, just don't ignore that. Like
Right.
those moments of clarity are what I think we really need to be paying attention to. And certainly make a don't list. I love that. The don't list is going to be just as valuable as the do list.
100%. Okay, Sarah, if you wrote your career memoir right now, what would the title be, and who would you ask to write the forward?
Okay, so the title would be From Motion to Momentum
Hmm.
and powered by clarity and oat milk lattes. Subtitle.
Okay,
and
love.
and my writer would be my career coach who really helped me through this journey to get here, Jenna Dene.
And what would she say about you, Sarah?
Oh my goodness. I think she would say that I went for it. And that's really where the title comes from. So that title, From Motion to Momentum, there's a period at the beginning of any new thing, or in my case, starting a business or a career move, where you're in motion, like you're just trying all the things and you're figuring it out. And in the last few months, I got past that phase and I am in the momentum phase now, which is really, I also call this compounding your productivity. It's really like honed in, intentional, knowing what works, getting rid of things that don't. And that's where that momentum comes into play. And my career coach, who is now one of my dear friends, she has witnessed this journey and really been a huge support of me all the way. So I think that's what she'd say.
Sarah, thank you so much for your time and for joining us on Make Your Move from your hotel room. It is always appreciated. Until next time, empower long and prosper.